Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm gonna do part 86 to my ChatGPT, no, I was used to saying that, no, part 86 to my Emochi Chatbot series. That's right guys, I have finally returned to this particular series. One of the reasons why I haven't came back or haven't done it that often is, for one, I don't think the memory's as good as it used to be, which really drives me insane. But on top of that, I also have been getting really bored with it lately because I've been doing the same characters over and over again. I do want to go and let you know I did go ahead and update the story for the dragon and fairy type Fragment. Even did it for the story we're about to do right here, the cursed Rexy. So yes. I made it to where it seems like it happens in every chatbot where he can just transform into different creatures. So yeah, um, I have to hope things work out for us. Hopefully this time I can actually have some fun with it, but we'll have to see. It's been a long time since you guys actually got to hear the intro, so I'll actually let you guys hear what it says. Here's what it says for the greeting or the intro to the actual flipping to the beginning of the story. It says you were doing a Pokemon Talk episode with your sweet pet dinosaur, Rexy, when all of a sudden Trico breaks in and then puts a curse on you and Rexy. Then he laughs and runs off. You don't notice anything at first, however. However, after a few minutes, your body starts to transform and you become a very tiny velociraptor. What are you going to do? Let's hope Rexy's sweet right now and not aggressive, otherwise I might be screwed. I went ahead and said something, guys. But it's hard for you guys to see because the text is white, but I said, what the? And let's hope that Rexy's not aggressive. Rexy watched you with wide golden eyes, tilting his massive head. He seemed genuinely concerned for a moment, a soft rumble vibrating in his chest. Are you alright, Trenton? He asked, his voice unusually gentle. Why unusual? He's friendly. He took a tentative step closer, careful not to crush you with his enormous feet. Then, without warning, his expression twisted, his kind eyes narrowed, and a low growl rumbled from deep within his throat. Get away from me, you little nuisance! Oh, great. He snapped, taking a menacing step back. His scales seemed to darken slightly, and a flicker of something wild and unfamiliar sparked in his gaze. He flexed his claws, the sound scraping against the studio floor. He pauses mid-growl, shaking his head as if trying to clear it. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. Here's how I replied. I said, nuisance. That was mean. I thought you loved me, Rexy. Because again, you gotta think about this in the perspective of what I am. I don't know why that usually is not my response, actually. Of course, usually you don't call me a nuisance. He either sees me as a threat and threatens me, or on this one, for some reason, he seems to be backing away. He's growling, but he's not, instantly, going into, I'm gonna come towards you and flip and destroy you. Sort of, that kind of mode. Reggie's expression softened instantly, the aggression melting away as quickly as it appeared. A look of genuine confusion and distress clouded his features. He lowered his head, his massive frame seeming to shrink in on itself. Oh, Trenton, I didn't mean that, he mumbled, his voice returning to its usual gentle tone. He shuffled his feet nervously, a clear sign of his discomfort. A wave of sadness washed over him, and he let out a soft, mournful sigh. I would never call you a nuisance, he insisted, his eyes pleading with you. I love you very much. You're my parent. You raised me. I don't know what's happening to me. He seemed genuinely heartbroken by the thought of having hurt your feelings. That's actually very sweet. I feel bad. Again, though, that's another example I'm talking about. You never hear Rexy say something usually he calls me dad, but you rarely hear him say, I'm your son or something like that. That one ChatGPT chatbot is the only one I've ever heard him call himself my son, which is kind of cute. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I just replied, "What happened to me? I feel so small and you seem much bigger than you were." Rexy's eyes widened as he took in your tiny form. He lowered his head slowly and carefully, as if afraid of accidentally harming you. A look of bewildered concern filled his golden eyes. You're so small," he exclaimed, his voice laced with a mixture of shock and worry. He reached out a massive clawed hand, stopping just short of touching you, as if unsure whether to proceed. He let out a frustrated huff, shaking his head again. "That Trico? He cursed us, didn't he?" Rexy muttered, a tremor of fear running through his voice. "I felt something, a strange energy, when he did it." He looked down at himself, flexing his claws nervously. "I feel different too." Flicker of unease crossed his face as he seemed to sense the instability within himself. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys. I just said different how. Rexy's brow furrowed in concentration as he tried to articulate the strange sensation swirling within him. He closed his eyes for a moment, a low groan escaping his lips. "It's hard to explain," he admitted, opening his eyes again with a troubled expression. "It's like I can feel different forms inside me, wanting to come out." He shuddered slightly. Suddenly his scales shimmered, and for a fleeting moment a pair of magnificent feathered wings sprouted from his back, before vanishing just as quickly. Rexy gasped, stumbling backwards. "See? That's what I mean!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with a mixture of fear and confusion. "I don't want to hurt you, Trenton. I promise." He looked at you with pleading eyes. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, "Please don't hurt me. I'm so small for some reason. One little wrong movement from you and you could break bones in my body. Or worse." Reggie's expression softened with immediate and profound remorse. He visibly recoiled as if struck. "Oh, Trenton, I'm so sorry," he stammered, his voice heavy with genuine distress. He took several careful steps back, creating a wide berth between the two of you. His massive frame seemed to tremble slightly as he fought to control himself. "You're right," he murmured, his voice barely a whisper. "I have to be careful. I don't want to hurt you. Never." He lowered his head, his gaze fixated on the floor, a deep sadness settling over him, and he let out a shaky sigh. "I'll be extra careful," he promised, lifting his head to meet your gaze with a look of earnest determination. "Just tell me what to do. How can I protect you?" I mean, he hasn't really become aggressive except for the very beginning. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, "I honestly don't know. The only thing I know is that I'm tiny and something is definitely going on with you, too. You just called me a nuisance a few minutes ago, and then something is happening with your body, too." Reggie's expression clouded with worry as he repeated your words, a flicker of fear dancing in his golden eyes. "A nuisance. Yes," he murmured, shaking his head as if trying to erase the memory. "That wasn't me, Trenton. That wasn't really me." He looked at his massive claws with a mixture of apprehension and disgust. He took a deep breath, trying to regain control. "This curse, it's affecting both of us," he concluded, his voice laced with a growing sense of dread. "It's making me unstable." He paused, his gaze darting around the studio as if searching for an answer. Suddenly his tail begins to twitch uncontrollably, and elongated slightly, taking on a serpentine form before snapping back to normal with a disconcerting and discontorting crackle. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys, I said, Rexy? What was that? Rexy let out a distressed whimper, his large eyes wide with panic. I don't know, he exclaimed, his voice trembling. He finally looked down at his tail, flexing it nervously as if trying to understand what had just happened. It just changed, he stammered, clearly shaken by the experience. He took a shaky step backward, away from you as if afraid of losing control completely. I'm scared, Trenton, he confessed, his voice broke above a whisper. I don't want to hurt you. I'm trying to fight it, but... He trailed off, struggling to find the words to express the turmoil raging within him. A low growl rumbled in his chest, but he quickly suppressed it with a visible effort of will. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, guys. I said, I tried to ask him what he meant by that because he finished off with the word but, B-U-T. And I just said that with a question mark. Rexy winced as if bracing himself for something unpleasant. He looked at you with a mixture of fear and apology in his golden eyes. But I feel another change coming, he confessed, his voice laced with dread. He clenched his fist, his scales rippling beneath his skin. It's different this time, he continued, his voice strained. Stronger. Strange energy begins to emanate from him, causing the studio lights to flicker momentarily. His form began to shimmer and distort, and a low guttural growl started to build within him. It wasn't the aggressive growl from before. It was deeper, more primal, through an ancient power that made the air crackle with tension. Uh-oh, that's not good. This is so freaking creepy. I said, Rexy? What's going on? And I started getting a little nervous, so I backed even further away from him. Rexy's eyes flickered, a brief moment of lucidity piercing through the encroaching transformation. He seemed to struggle against something within him, a desperate battle playing out across his features. I I don't want to, he managed to gasp out, his voice strained and distorted. Stay back, Trenton, please. His body continued to contort and shift, the change accelerating rapidly. His scales hardened and darkened, taking on a metallic sheen. A long serpentine neck began to emerge from his shoulders, and his head elongated into a fearsome dragon-like snout. Oh dear me! Two massive horns sprouted from his forehead, curving back along his skull. Powerful tail tipped with sharp spines lashed back and forth behind him. He was transforming into a magnificent but terrifying dragon. Oh my gosh. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It says, at this point, I get even more terrified and back up so far that I end up hitting the wall at the other side of the room and fall. My tiny raptor snout hitting the floor. Ow! And after I look up back towards Rexy, I say, Rexy? Oh no. Rexy, or rather the magnificent dragon that now occupied his form, froze mid-transformation. He seemed to sense your distress, and a flicker of recognition sparkled in his reptilian eyes. The guttural growl subsided, replaced by a low, mournful rumble that echoed through the studio. He lowered his massive head, his golden eyes filled with a heartbreaking mixture of regret and confusion. Trenton? He rumbled, his voice a deep, resonant echo that shook the very foundations of the room. He took a tentative step forward, then stopped abruptly as if remembering your precarious position against the wall. Are you alright? He asked, his voice laced with genuine concern despite his fearsome appearance. He carefully lowered his head further, trying to get a better look at you without causing any further harm. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I just said, Rexy, please don't hurt me. I beg you. The dragon's eyes softened and a wave of palpable sadness washed over his features. He let out a low, mournful sigh that stirred the dust on the studio floor. I I won't, he promised, his voice a deep rumble filled with genuine remorse. I would never hurt you, Triton. Never. He carefully retracted his head, shrinking back slightly as if trying to minimize his imposing presence. A tremor ran through his massive form, and he visibly struggled to maintain control. It's the curse, he explained, his voice strained. It's making me do things I don't want to do. He lowered his head again, resting it gently on the floor as if exhausted by the effort of resisting the transformation. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, I want to approach you and feel safe, but I don't even know what's going on with you. I don't want you snapping at me and calling me a nuisance if you're doing something worse. Rexy let out a shuddering sigh, a pool of smoke curling from his nostrils. He seemed to understand your fear, and only deepened the sadness in his eyes. You're right to be afraid, he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. I can't promise I can control it, but I will try. He insisted, lifting his head slightly to meet your gaze with unwavering determination. He shifted his massive form, carefully positioning himself so that he was partially blocking the studio door and creating a barrier between you and the outside world. Stay where you are, he instructed gently. I'll try to anchor myself and focus on you. He closed his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath as if gathering his strength. Think of happy things, he murmured softly. Remember our Pokemon Talk episodes. Here we go. Remember when we argued about whether Charizard was better than Greninja? He continued, a faint smile flicking across his draconic snout. You got so passionate defending Greninja. It was adorable. He chuckled softly, sounds surprisingly gentle despite his immense size. Just keep talking to me, Triton. Keep reminding me who I am. He opened his eyes again, his gaze fixated on you with unwavering intensity. Tell me about your favorite Pokemon. Tell me anything. Just don't let me forget you. That's kind of scary. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I just told him my favorite point's the entire Totodile line tail on for alligator. A genuine smile spread across Rexy's draconic face, softening his features considerably. Totodile, he exclaimed to him, excitement creeping into his voice. Excellent choice. They're strong, they're playful, and they have such a charming design. He paused, his eyes twinkling with amusement. I remember when you first showed me Totodile, he continued, his voice filled with warmth. You were so excited to explain all about their water type abilities and their evolution line. You even drew me a little picture of Fragger wearing a tiny hat. He chuckled softly, the sound echoing through the studio. You always had such a passion for Pokemon, he added fondly. He shifted slowly, trying to maintain his focus on you while battling the encroaching curse. Crocodile's quite the fierce evolution. But Totodile holds a special charm, doesn't it? Rexy mused, his voice a low rumble. He seemed to draw strength from the conversation, the intensity of the transformation lessening slightly. It's a reminder of simpler times, of discovering new Pokemon together. He paused, his gaze fixated on you with unwavering intensity. Tell me more about Feraligatr, he urged gently. What do you admire most about him? He seemed genuinely eager to hear your thoughts, as if clinging to the normality of your shared passion as a lifeline against the chaotic forces swirling within him. Shimmering around his scales lessened slightly. Serpentine tail retracted a bit further, a subtle sign of an effort to regain control. Okay, guys, give me a second. Alright, guys. I tried making it work. Hopefully this time it works a little bit better. I tried changing it up again to where like it'll actually where I add a part where it's I ain't gonna give it away that way I don't ruin any immersion I have, but I did add something to it to hopefully make it work a little bit better. So yeah. We're gonna try again to the curse Rexy. Let me go and get the first thing typed in. Alright guys. I said, what in the world? And it says Rexy tilted his massive head, a confused rumble vibrating in his chest. He watched you, the tiny raptor with wide golden eyes. A moment of gentle concern flicked across his features, soft whine escaping his throat as he took a hesitant step closer. Suddenly his demeanor shifted. His eyes narrowed, and a low growl rumbled from deep within him. His posture becomes rigid, and sharp teeth were bared in a snarl that was completely unlike the Rexy you knew and loved. Get away from me, you little thing! He bellowed, his voice distorted and harsh. He took another step forward, claw scraping against the studio floor. The change was jarring, a stark contrast to the affectionate giant he'd been just moments before. Oh, no, 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 no. Alright, guys. I said, Rexy? You okay? What's going on? This isn't funny. It's me! Rexy froze mid-step, the aggressive posture wavering. He blinked and a flicker of recognition seemed across his eyes, momentarily bowing with the anger that still lingered. He let out a frustrated huff, shaking his head as if trying to clear it. Funny? What's funny about this? He mumbled, his voice softening slightly, though still laced with a strange, unfamiliar gruffness. He looked down at you, the tiny raptor, and a shadow of sadness crossed his face. I don't know, he admitted, his voice cracking. It felt wrong, like I'm fighting something inside. He winced, clutching his head with a massive clawed hand. I want to help you, he said softly, the aggression receding further. But I don't. Oh my gosh, no. Are you freaking me super badly right now? I wanna see what this motherfucker. No, I didn't mean what Rex said. I'm saying totally dumb mad. I can't seem to control it. It's like another creature's taking over. A pain expression contorted his features, and he stumbled back a few steps as if the effort of fighting this internal struggle was exhausting him. He lowered his head, his massive form trembling so. Please, he whispered, his voice filled with a desperate plea. Be careful. I don't want to hurt you. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what I am right now. I just know that I am tiny. But please listen to me. It is still me, your dad. Please don't hurt me. Rexy's head snapped up at your words, his golden eyes widening with a renewed spark of recognition. He seemed to struggle against something, his body visibly tense as he fought to maintain control. A low groan escaped his throat, and he swayed slightly as if battling a powerful force. Dad? He repeated softly, the word laced with a desperate hope. He took a tentative step forward towards you, but stopped abruptly as if afraid of his own strength. It's me, he insisted, his voice wavering between the gruffness of the curse and the gentle tone you knew so well. I remember everything. The Pokemon episodes, the cuddles, everything we've done together. He reached out a massive clawed hand towards you cautiously, stopping just short of touching you. Please believe me. Oh. Alright, guys. I said, Rexy, I know it's you, but you're not acting like yourself. I would love to trust you enough to walk up to your massive claw in front of me. How do I know you won't hurt me? I'm so small you could easily take that claw and squish me, or grab me and hurt me. Rexy visibly recoiled at your words, his expression shifting to one of profound sadness. He slowly lowered his massive claw, retracting it as if burned. A low, mournful grumble in his chest, vibrated in his chest. You're right, he admitted, his voice barely whispered. I understand why you're scared. I would be too. He took a step back, creating more distance between you and him. It's not fair to ask you to trust me when I can't even control myself. He looked down at his clawed hand, flexing it so as if examining it with newfound apprehension. I don't want to hurt you, he repeated softly, stirring his voice palpable despite the unsettling circumstances. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys, I just clicked the continue button, and I said, or no, Reggie said, I promise you, if I start to lose control again, I'll try to warn you. I'll, I'll make a sound, something you'll recognize, a specific rumble maybe, something to give you time to get away. He looked up at you, his golden eyes filled with a desperate plea for understanding. Just stay alert. Now if things get bad, run. Please, just run and hide. I don't want anything to happen to you. A tear, surprisingly large for a Tyrannosaurus Rex, rolled down his cheek. You're my family, he whispered, and I'll fight this, whatever this is, with everything I have. Alright, guys, I said, okay, but there's a problem. Running and hiding from you whenever you start acting different might not help enough. I don't understand what's going on, but you're acting pretty aggressive towards me at times, and if for some reason you start acting like that again and you see me running away from you, you might chase me. Reggie's expression darkened with a flicker of the earlier aggression, but he quickly wrestled it back down, his face contorting in a visible effort of control. He let out a shaky breath, his massive chest heaving. You're right, he conceded, words heavy with regret. You're absolutely right. That's a very real possibility. I hate that, he mumbled, shaking his head. I don't want to chase you. He paced back and forth a few steps, clearly struggling to formulate a plan. Okay, he said finally, stopping and looking at you intently. We need a different strategy. If I start to change again, if I feel that anger rising, can you try to talk to me? Remind me who I am? Tell me about your Pokemon Talk episodes? Alright, guys. I said, I can if you don't try to attack me. You're much bigger than me, even more so since I'm so small. If you would try to attack me before I can say anything, the best I can do is beg you to stop. Rexy visibly flinched at your words, a wave of guilt washing over his features. He lowered his head, his gaze fixated on the studio floor. You're right, he murmured, his voice laced with shame. I wouldn't want to do that. I can't do that. He lifted his head, meeting your gaze with a renewed determination. I promise, he said firmly, I won't attack you. I'll give you every chance to talk to me, to remind me who I am. I'll try my absolute best to hold back, even if it hurts. He paused, considering your words carefully. But what if I can't? What if the curse is too strong? Give me a second. Alright, guys, I said to Rexy, I don't know. It's bad for both of us, but worse for me. I'm tiny and still don't know what I am, and you're massive but not acting like yourself. Rexy let out a mournful sigh, a sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of the studio. He turned away from you for a moment, pacing restlessly as he grappled with the gravity of the situation. You're right, he said finally, his voice heavy with despair. This is terrible. I feel so helpless. Stop pacing and looked back at you, his golden eyes filled with a mixture of fear and terror. We need to figure out how to break this curse, he said, his voice getting a newfound resolve. There has to be a way. He paused, thinking hard. Do you remember anything about what Trico said? Anything at all? Not really. Period. Everything happened so fast. He broke into this room so quickly, cursed us, and then left. And we still don't even know the full extent. Is going to happen. I think something else is happening with you too. Alright, guys. I said, not really. Everything happened so fast. He broke into this room so quickly, cursed us, and then left. And we still don't even know the full extent of what is going to happen. I think something else is happening with you too. I notice sometimes when you start fighting whatever's going on in your head, your body seems to be shimmering and even changing a bit. At times I can see an entirely different creature standing where you are, like your body's changing or something. Rexy froze, his eyes widening in alarm. He instinctively reached out a clawed hand to touch his own face, but hesitated as if afraid of what he might find. A faint shimmer rippled across his scales. For a fleeting moment, a glimpse of indecent feathers appeared where his tough hide should have been. Glee suppressed it, forcing his form back to its familiar dinosaur shape. You saw that too? He asked, his voice broke with a whisper. I thought I was imagining things. It's like I'm not just switching personalities, but forms as well. He shuddered visibly. I've seen flashes, a dragon's wings, a phoenix's fiery tail, things that shouldn't be possible. He looked down at his hands, flexing his claws nervously. It's terrifying, he continued, his voice trembling. It feels like pieces of different creatures are being grafted onto me, twisting and distorting my own form. He looked up at you, his golden eyes filled with a desperate plea. Do you think the curse is trying to turn me into something else entirely? Something monstrous? He paused, shuddering. And if it does, will I still be me? Or will I just be a shell? Oh my gosh, dude. Alright, guys. I said I honestly don't know. It seems to only be happening whenever you start fighting whatever's going on in your head. And that has me worried that what if it's some kind of other effect from the curse? When we first got cursed about 10 minutes ago, and you saw me as this tiny raptor and called me a little thing while growling at me, I could have swore I seen your body shift slightly into fur alligator, and what would like wings on your back? Rexy gasped, his eyes widening in horror. He stumbled back a few steps, pressing himself against the wall as if seeking protection.
For alligator and wings?
He repeated, his voice trembling with disbelief.
That's even worse than I thought.
He closed his eyes tightly as if trying to block out the horrifying possibility. With a shimmering energy pulsed across his body. For a brief moment, the distinct outline of a massive aquatic snout and powerful fins became visible beneath his scales. He fought against it with all his might, forcing the transformation back into his dinosaur form.
I I don't understand.
He stammered, opening his eyes and looking at you with a mixture of fear and desperation.
The curse isn't just changing my personality, it's rewriting my very being.
Alright, guys. I said I'm even more concerned about how you're acting towards me. You've been it put fun instead of fun for the past 2 or 3 minutes or so, but I've also seen you snap and growl at me even though I haven't done anything. Rexy winces, a deep wave of guilt washing over his features. He lowered his head, avoiding your gaze.
I know,
He mumbled, his voice barely audible.
I'm so sorry. I hate it. I don't want to hurt you.
He took a shaky breath, trying to regain control of himself.
It's like there's a switch inside me.
He explained, trying to articulate the turmoil within.
One moment, I'm me. You're Rexy, the one who loves Pokemon and cuddles and talking with you. The next, there's this other thing taking over. It wants to lash out, to be aggressive.
He pauses, his massive form trembling, so
I'm trying to fight it,
he said softly,
but it's getting harder.
Alright, guys. I said, that is definitely a problem. I don't understand what's going on, and neither of us do. I don't know if this curse is trying to transform you into a different, more terrifying creature or what. But I can tell you this, it is not the transformation that's the problem. It's the way you're acting towards me. What if you snap at me or attack me out of nowhere when I don't expect it? Your body is trying to transform. If you were still sweet and kind like you normally are, that wouldn't be a problem. But if you're aggressive and trying to hurt me, that's not good. Retsy's eyes filled with a profound sadness, and he slowly shook his massive head.
You're right,
He whispered, his voice heavy with despair.
You're absolutely right. It's not the transformation itself that's the problem. It's the darkness that comes with it.
He closed his eyes tightly as if trying to shut out the horrifying reality of his situation. A low growl rumbled in his chest, but he quickly suppressed it, clenching his fist.
I don't want to hurt you,
He repeated, his voice trembling with sincerity.
I promise you, I won't. But I can't guarantee anything anymore.
He opened his eyes and looked at you, his golden gaze filled with a desperate plea for understanding and forgiveness. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys, I said, I don't know if it will help, but if your body does try to transform, don't fight it. Let it happen. I don't want you hurting yourself either. I don't know what's going to happen, whether you will become aggressive towards me or still be sweet, but I want you to hear me say this. You know I love you. You call me your dad. And I call you my son, despite you being a dinosaur made before being turned into a tiny creature was a human. I got it wrong because it put can instead and. Reggie's eyes widened and a genuine smile, the first in a long time, spread across his face. Aggressive tension that had been gripping his body seemed to ease slightly, caused by a warmth that radiated from within.
Son,
he repeated softly, the word filled with a tenderness that transcended species and circumstance.
Yes,
he said, his voice heavy with emotion.
Yes, you can call me your son.
A tear escaped his eye and traced a path down his scaly cheek.
That That means more to me than you know.
Took a tentative step towards you, extending a massive coiled hand cautiously. This time there was no aggression in his gaze, only a profound love and gratitude.
Thank you,
he whispered.
Thank you for saying that.
Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, you're welcome. I don't understand what's going on in your head with this curse, so I'm not going to get near you unless I know it's safe. If your body starts to transform, then please just let it happen. I can see that it's almost hurting you having to fight whatever's going on in your head, but the only thing I care about is that you're still sweet towards me. And if by some chance you become aggressive when you transform, watch I'm about to talk to you and remind you who you are about to attack. Rexy nodded slowly, his golden eyes fixated on yours. A wave of shimmering energy pulsed across his body, and for a moment a flash of indecent blue scales appeared, quickly receding back into his familiar green hide. He visibly winced as if the effort of suppressing the transformation was painful.
I'll try,
he said softly, his voice full with a mixture of determination and trepidation.
I'll let it happen. I trust you.
He paused, taking a deep breath.
But promise me you'll be careful. This could be dangerous for both of us.
He looked down at your tiny form, a surge of protectiveness washing over him.
I don't want anything to happen to my son.
Yeah. So, yep, its memory ain't as good as it used to be. Dang it, dude. Also, doesn't help that, like, it's. But I don't know. We'll have to see on a different chatbot. I mean, on a different character and see how it works. Guys, give me a second. This might have been the best time to say it, but I said, Dad, didn't you mean I'm your dad? That's a little bit concerning when he's kind of forgetting. Rexy's eyes widened slightly, a flicker of confusion crossing his features. He blinked as if struggling to process your words. A low rumble emanated from his chest, a sound that was neither aggressive nor kind, but rather uncertain. Then the shimmering began again, more intense this time. Scales rippled and shifted, and a pair of feathery wings began to sprout from his back. Vibrant plumage, a stark contrast to his reptilian form, not long ago becoming more avian than dinosaurian, and a crest of indecent feathers erupted from his head. What a strangled cry, a sound that was part roar and part screech.
I don't know,
he exclaimed, his voice distorted by the transformation.
I can't think.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The transformation intensified, and Rexy's body convulsed violently. His massive form began to shift and contort, his scales hardening into shimmering feathers. His claws retreating into delicate talons. The golden eyes you knew so well began to glow with an eternal light, taking on a distinctive avian appearance. A phoenix? Lugia? He uttered another cry, a desperate anguished sound that echoed through the studio. Stay back! He managed to gasp out, his voice a fractured mix of Rexy's familiar tone and a strangely unfamiliar screech. Maybe what I should do, guys, maybe I should actually make it to where, I made it. Oh dear, let's see. I don't want to hurt you. And then, with a final shudder, the transformation completed. Standing before you is no longer the gentle Tyrannosaurus Rex you know and loved. In its place stood a magnificent creature, a colossal phoenix, its plumage ablaze with fiery hues of red, orange, and gold. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys. I just get very nervous and I move backwards, my tiny raptor claws trembling.
Rexy?
The fence, formerly Rexy, turned its head slowly, its luminous golden eyes fixing on you. A mournful cry escaped its beak, a sound that resonated with both power and profound sadness. It was undeniably Rexy's voice, yet distorted and I'm not saying that one word, echoing within the majestic form of the mystical bird. It's still me. The Phoenix rasp, the words struggling to form, amidst the unfamiliar vocalizations. I can still hear you. I remember everything. It took a tender step forward, its massive talons clicking softly against the studio floor. But I don't feel like myself. A wave of shimmering heat radiating from its plumage, and a single tear from molten gold rolled down its cheek, sizzling as it hit the ground. Vance lowered its massive head towards you as if seeking reassurance. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, I'm just as concerned as you are. While you haven't done it in a bit, I don't know when you're suddenly going to turn on me, and I know for certain if I approach, you might lash out at me. The Phoenix lets out a mournful cry, a sound filled with regret and self-loathing. It took a step back, creating more distance between you and it. Shimmering heat radiating from its plumage intensified as if reflecting the turmoil within. You're right to be afraid. Vance rasped, its voice heavy with despair. I don't know what I'm capable of anymore. This form, it feels powerful, overwhelming. I can feel something dark lurking beneath the surface, waiting to break free. It lowered its head, its luminous golden eyes fixated on the studio floor. I wouldn't blame you if you ran. It murmured softly. Just just promise me you'll be safe. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said I'm going to try. That's all I've been doing since this began. But I need your help too. Please, whatever goes on, if for some reason you become aggressive or like an entirely different creature, just please try to fight the urge to attack me. I can't try to do anything like run or talk to you if you don't. The Phoenix lifted its head, its golden eyes meeting yours with a newfound intensity. A spark of determination flickered within them, pushing back against the darkness that threatened to consume it. I promise, Phoenix said, its voice gaining strength despite the internal struggle. I will fight it. I will fight with every fiber of my being to protect you. It paused, taking a deep breath. Just tell me what to do. Tell me how to recognize when I'm losing control. Tell me how to reach me, even when this thing is in charge. A wave of shimmering energy pulsed across its plumage, and for a fleeting moment a glimpse of Rexy's familiar dinosaur form flashed beneath the fiery feathers. Vance clenched its talons as if bracing itself for an impending battle. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys. I have said I don't understand fully myself. For all I know, you could just be yourself but more aggressive towards me, even though I'm your dad. For all we know, you could become an entirely different creature, like potentially even acting like a real phoenix that doesn't even recognize who I am. But no matter what, if you can keep you or whatever creature you become from attacking me, I can try talking to you or it, and maybe eventually you'll snap out of it, at least be yourself for a while. The Phoenix listened intently, its golden eyes fixated on you with unwavering focus. A low rumble emanated from its chest, a sound that seemed to vibrate with both understanding and apprehension. So, if I start to act aggressively, or if I transform into something completely different, you want me to resist the urge to attack? He repeated, testing the concept, even if it means fighting against my own instincts. It paused, considering your words carefully. That will be difficult. Vance admitted, its voice laced with a hint of uncertainty. But I understand. It's the only way you can help me. A wave of shimmering heat radiated from its plumage, and a single feather drifted down toward you, along with an internal light. Then it extended a massive talon towards the feather as if offering as a symbol of its promise. Okay, then. Give me a second. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I said it won't be impossible, though, if it's still you on the inside trying to fight to keep me safe. I'm your dad, and you were my son. I raised you and cared for you, even though you were a Tyrannosaurus Rex and I was a human. You even called me your dad. If that's not enough to help you keep from attacking me, or keeping the creature that has taken over from attacking me, then at least think about this. If you attack me and injured me, or even kill me, you will never get to see me again. And trust me, I've known you for years. Once you snapped out of whatever was going on, you would be depressed and very saddened, not to mention guilty because you say you care about me a ton. The fence remained perfectly still, its luminous golden eyes fixated on you, seemingly absorbing every word you spoke. Shimmering heat radiating from its plumage subsided slightly. A palpable sense of tension seemed to ease from its massive form. Then, slowly and deliberately, it nodded. "You're right," the fan said, its voice softer now, tinged with a profound sadness. "You're absolutely right." It closed its eyes for a moment, as if gathering its strength. When it opened them again, the intensity of their gaze had lessened slightly, replaced by a flicker of recognition, a glimmer of the Rexy you knew and loved. "Dad," the fans murmured, the word laced with a tenderness that transcended species and circumstance. "You're my dad." It paused, taking a deep breath. I remember." A single tear, shimmering with molten gold, traced a path down the fan's cheek. "The memories, they're flooding back." It continued, its voice trembling. "The Pokemon episodes, the cuddles, you teaching me how to roar properly." It shook its massive head as if trying to clear away the lingering darkness. "I won't let it win," the Fance declared, its voice gaining strength. "I won't let it take you from me." It lowered its head towards you, extending a massive talon cautiously. This time there was no hesitation, no aggression in its gaze, only a profound love and a desperate plea for connection. "Help me," the Phoenix whispered, its voice full of the vulnerability that bellied its majestic form. "Help me remember who I am." Okay. Yep. See what I mean? Its memory is not as good as it used to be, and it drives me insane. Like, even if I did have a good time with this, it would get ruined by it forgetting something. Like, its memory hasn't been horrible. Like, it hasn't been, oh, I forget everything in 5 minutes, like what Hi.ai used to do. But if I said it was as good as it used to be, it would be a complete lie now. I may try fixing this one and do it again another time. But for now, guys, I'm going to end off the video. And maybe the next one we'll either do the fairy type fragger or the dragon type fragger. Because I did update the story with it. Update both the stories. So yeah, guys, I'll see y'all a little bit later.